All right. Guys, this is a civilization we're staring at right now. Actually, both these civilizations, I think, are solid civilizations we just don't talk about enough. Because we have too many now. We've got 39 civilizations. It's insane. 1v1 battle here on good old Arabia, as most of the high-level players prefer. In the red, we have got Vivi, Chinese player, formerly known as the Fat Dragon, formerly known as Really DL, formerly known as So Big DL, formerly known as 5CM DL. Guess what DL means in Chinese? Vivi's a bit of a troller boy. And Vivi's back to Age of Empires 2. It's good to see him. I've known this player for many, many, many years. And Vivi loves Burgundians. Vivi loves to boom and utilize the fact that you can research your eco upgrades one age earlier. And Vivi likes to make something other than the Cavalier and Castle Age, which we'll get to. In the blue, then, we've got Daniel. And Daniel is like, he's a micro nerd, as we call it. I have a lot of conversations with him on meta and things of that nature. He is kind of like Leary, kind of like some players who always prefer to go man-at-arms, archers, and they love their attack move spam. They love their ballistics. They play into archers when they can. And so Ethiopians getting plus 100 food, plus 100 gold when you arrive to each age, but also getting the faster firing archers is just a huge, huge help for him. Now, this was actually game 3 between these two on ranked. They played against each other 3 times in a row, and the score was 1-1. I'm not going to put it up on the scoreboard, but the score was 1-1. So Vivi played Burgundians every single time. So Vivi, he is that type of player. There's a time where he one-trick Cumans and Mayans, and he doesn't necessarily play random Civ as much as maybe some of the other pros. Now, that was a lot of stuff. I should also mention that they know each other quite well. So Daniel, he lives in New York, but he grew up, I hope I'm not wrong on this, I think he grew up in Hong Kong. So he has actually played, he used to be on WWP, which is a team that's comprised of mainly the Chinese players. But he plays team games with Yo and Vivi and a lot of those guys a lot. So he knows them quite well, and will know Vivi's style as well as his personality. Now, Vivi used to be a player who'd go forward a lot, but nowadays the meta isn't really, for forwarding doesn't really work too well. So Vivi taking more of the Wally civs. And so I like this because not only with the player styles do we have a very big difference. We have a very aggressive player who likes archers, and then we have a boomy player who likes walls and normally stable units, right? But then we also have civ matchups, which is just perfect for each players. I mean, you could make arguments. There's civs that are slightly better than Burgundians when it comes to what Vivi's about to do. And you could also probably make an argument that maybe Britons or some other archer civ would be a little better than what Daniel's about to do. But it's a clear clash of styles here, and they're going to try and play it out how as they will and see how it works. And Daniel, so common these days, is going to add an early barracks. And if he knows someone's going to wall, a fast barracks into early militia for control is one of the best things you can do. Vivi already walling, already has the Feudal Age wood upgrade in the Dark Age, and hasn't scouted the enemy at all. Has just stayed at home. Actually, a really bad board. Oh my god, I thought the TC killed that. Really bad Dark Age, to be honest. Like, has to make a house last minute now, but is working towards those walls. Now, a lot of players go for eco with Burgundians, and then Burgundians can research Cavalier and Castle Age from their stable. But Vivi doesn't really like that. Vivi likes the Coustier, and that is the way you say it. I did further research. That's how you're supposed to say it. Daniel, I know the guy, and he has a lot of faith in what he's going for now. But I think he also knows Vivi. Look at the walls. He's like, okay, this guy's going to sit back behind walls. Let me get some pressure in. And then maybe consider fast castling, which again is very non-meta. But so is walling with 4 villagers right now. Good hits there from Vivi's scout, and I think they know each other so well. Vivi hasn't even left yet. Vivi knows that Daniel's probably coming forward with a drush. Probably wants to go archers. And then Daniel knows that Vivi's trying to wall. And so Daniel now looks at this and will be like, crap. No, he's got his walls down already. How frustrating. The only thing you can really do is attack the walls at this point. Vivi on the way to the next stage. Very late uptime compared to some of the build orders we typically see. It has so much food, is moving out with the scout now, and is probably going to make lumber camp number 2 here. If he loves the Coustier, but you would need stone for that. There's stone here, and the other stone is over here, so it seems unrealistic that Vivi could accomplish that. Now, I think something that Daniel could have done here, and I guess you always want to have some security with walls. But I think something that you could do here is you could just not wall at all. That's very risky and could easily be punished. Maybe there will be military from his opponent. You never know. But the longer you delay the walls, the better for you. And Vivi has gone for very small walls. So Vivi's gone for 38 palisades. So you have the cost of those palisades and the villager time. And then Daniel hasn't completed them yet. But he's at 39 palisades, plus a bunch of houses, plus the barracks, plus whatever he's going to place over here. But I think, overall, I think this is actually really good for the Burgundian player. Now, something that Daniel taught me when we played last week is that since the houses lack armor now, attacking the houses in these situations is so strong. That house would have melted a lot faster than you would think in the Dark Age there. And Vivi's going to open scouts. You wouldn't think so because Vivi's also going to gold and all this other stuff, but Vivi's actually going to open scouts. Daniel didn't see the barracks either, so even just seeing the barracks would sometimes tell you that there will be a stable follow-up. So I guess in the end, the walls for Daniel make sense. Daniel now on the way to Feudal Age, hoping that he can pull off a fast castle here. And the Spearman catches the scout out. Oof, that's a frustrating thing to see. But it's also so frustrating to lose a house here. Look, it works so well, too. Because you look at this, you're like, oh, 27 out of 30 pop. I'm going to lose a house. Okay, I got to repair it. I got to add another house. And the house is going to go down. I swear, he killed 2 of my houses in Dark Age, and it GG'd me. Because I was not prepared for it. And now you've got to add another house. So now you're housed. Such a sick play from Daniel. Got a message from Miguel, my coach, the other day. And he's like, I'm telling you, attack houses if you can't hit anything else. Due to recent changes, it's actually a really good play. Let's see if Daniel... Okay, I was going to say, see if Daniel goes in for the weak scout here. And good micro there from Vivi. He's got 2 scouts now. What he also has, though, is the Castle Age farm upgrade and the Castle Age wood upgrade. Daniel now making a blacksmith way in the back. Making an archer range on the front. Like we said about Daniel, this is his type of play. Loves his archers. Vivi loves the eco. So what we've learned so far is that you don't want to make houses as part of your walls at a high level right now. The 2 militia will normally take out a house. But it does depend, of course. I wish I could show you guys right now what happened when my house was taken out. I think it's probably unrealistic to edit it in later, but I lost one house, and the other house, I tried to repair it the last second, and then the house went down, and the militia and eagle was on my bill. It was painful. One of those deals where I would have been able to deal with his army, but I just didn't get there in time. All right, so look at the scouting here from Vivi. Great food and wood eco. Because now is probably a little worried because that archer range has a flag on it. So now, naturally, he's going to send these scouts around. This is so important, guys. Getting in here with this scout was huge. And then for later, you're going to have an idea of where Daniel's taking resources. But for now, Vivi just wants to make sure that these archers don't move out uncontested. That said, 2 out of these 3 scouts are pretty weak. Let me sip my coffee here. You never really know. Now, something that I feel like Daniel should maybe consider here, and really he's got 2 choices, but I would really like to see the second archer range, because only producing out of 1 archer range on the way up, I know he's able to get excellent value, and that's what the archer players love. They love to kill as much as possible with as little as possible, and then boom. But this is not a matchup where you're ever going to catch up easily to the Burgundian eco. So what I prefer to see is a second archer range. Daniel's not going to do that. He's going to escape now. And a small benefit here is Ethiopians do actually get the pikeman upgrade for free. Love how annoying Vivi is being with these scouts. It's continues to force reactions from Daniel, but I also love how Daniel didn't give that any power. I think some of the mid eloers out there, the low eloers, the AIers out there, some of you guys might be watching this, and like if you were in this situation, you might send your army over here to deal with this. That's what Vivi wants. Daniel still using the Vills. And Vivi's gonna lose this scout. Nope, still running around with the scout. And there goes Daniel. So this is what I just mentioned, right? He's trying to catch up in eco. And here he comes. And oh man, Vivi. Vivi's such a greedy player, man. Look at this. Tried to take this stone. And just like, nah, I'm gonna make the mining camp over there. Hopefully he doesn't see that. Honestly, if these crossbows find these villagers, the game is kind of over, I think. Now, Daniel might look at that and see the rubble. But Dan, you can't see the rubble in your fog. You can only see the rubble in your vision, if that makes sense. So he must not have looked there. He must have added the TC. And he sent just one crossbow back. But Daniel didn't even get Bod Canero, guys. He's like, nah, screw it. I'm not making that many crossbows anyways right now. I would like economy. Definitely one of those things, if you lose, you look back at and say, oh my goodness, how did he get away with that? Like, I think Daniel, he's thinking there's no way that Vivi could ever go for his favorite unit, the Coustier. There's no way. A castle time for Vivi is honestly nuts. I guess the castle time for Daniel was so fast that I didn't think this was going to be fast from Vivi. But holy crap, 20-minute castle time. That's no joke here. Obviously, houses, we had the conversation earlier. They're a bit stronger now, I think. I actually forget. I apologize. There was a recent change with the houses. I think they're definitely stronger in castle, though. Vivi surprises with some skirms. And also re-walls it. What a great game, dude. I love high-level Age of Empires. It's just so slick with how they play it. Vivi takes so many risks. But I love the fact he was able to get away with it here. So let's actually look at the resources brought in. Okay, I was curious on this, right? Because Daniel has more villagers now. But Vivi has had a lot of these upgrades. See a monastery for Vivi. And Daniel now is thinking, he must be going skirms. So I am going to go for siege. I would say that there's a big difference between how Vivi has played with his scouting and how Daniel has played with his scouting. You can still see Vivi out here with scouts looking around. But I think Daniel will be a little surprised by the Coustier. That said, he's got a 10 villager lead. That's a 20% difference. Definitely not bad. And he's also getting relic number 1. Could easily lead to relic number 2 and relic number 3 as they're around the map. Also, skirms shouldn't be that effective normally, but I guess in this situation they are kind of effective because Bod Canero isn't in. And the monk is going to go down, which is kind of funny. He, like, drops her right next to the He drops her right next to the monastery. There's just something so comical about that. It's like, as a monk, you feel like you're really loved and appreciated by God. But nah, in reality, you'll just be replaced by the next monk immediately. God doesn't care. God just wants the relic. The timing on that. Oh, not another one. Oh, God. Don't lose another monk here. Okay, that should be a good shot. This monk should survive. Okay, meanwhile, we have a castle for Vivi. It's very defensive, but it's in a great spot against crossbowmen. Monk does survive. Great micro, Daniel. 10 to 10 KD this game. We did have the first armor for Cav come in. Yeah, sorry, I know, an old man died. I'm sorry. And Vivi, no surprise, is going to go for the third TC. And Vivi, I just don't know how he gets away with this crap, honestly. Like, certain players are just so good at finding the right spots for eco. This is the type of player... I got to be careful with these words. But honestly, this is the type of player that I feel like everyone should want to be. To rely on eco and good decisions and not any of that fancy micro movement. Not all of us can do that micro stuff, okay, Viper? Like, but Vivi is... He's at the very top. He's making his Coustier now. So let's talk about the Coustier. So there's this white line here, okay? And this is the charge on it. So you see the 8 plus 1, sorry, let me rephrase that. The 8 plus 25. That means the first attack gets more damage, and then you'll see the white bar go back up, and then you can go for another attack with 8 plus 25. So its base attack is 8, but it has that charge attack. And a lot of people, when it was added to AoE 2, myself included, to be honest, not really a fan of that. But they nerfed it. There actually was a weird bug for the first month where you could, like, one-shot a whole group of units. It was really stupid. But anyways, very strong hitting and running unit. Okay? And if you can get a good surround with that initial attack, it can be strong. And Daniel doesn't even know the castle's up yet. Daniel's probably thinking, well, let's get relics now. Already has 2. Castle in the middle of the map's not bad. I guess the issue I have with this castle is I feel like this is a good castle number 2. I feel like castle 1 you want closer to your base. Like here. Or here. Because you could still be raided, but I guess part of it is he doesn't know what's out there. There goes the monk. Okay, he does know something's there now. And over here, you had a quick wall from Daniel on a villager building the outpost. I almost want to rewind. Actually, I want to show that one. Okay, so when did he notice this? Okay, this is his point of view. This is when the monk was going by, so he could have looked at that. He's looking over here, and okay, he pre-walls it, and now the Coustiers show up. Impressive stuff. Vivi, though, coming back with relic number 2. And this game is definitely going late. This would be relic number 3 for Daniel if he can make it back. Vivi running over here with those Coustiers right now. He's looking for the relic. There's no relic here. Okay. Baskets and Dave in my chat have incredible humor, and everyone should respect that and acknowledge that. And look at that. 2 Coustiers, 1 shot of Mangonel. And this is what I meant about the initial castle. Vivi recognizes that as well. Vivi's like, if I can get through here, I can do some tremendous damage, and he does make it through. It was a great attempt from Daniel there to get the house walls down. This is what I would call avoidable damage in most cases, but Daniel didn't know until recently that these units were out here. Vivi says, haha, have fun, buddy. And he's going to run away. Also, Villager got converted, which is hilarious because it's walled in to Blue Palisades, but here come the Coustiers. And now keep an eye on the idle time. It's one thing to keep your villagers alive. It's another thing to actually keep them working. And you'll seize the hold, man. He is on it right now. Getting ballistics has to bring back all of these crossbows. And what this does is it now gives time for Vivi to maybe hit other areas. You can see Coustiers are kind of waiting. And you see the units 8 plus 1, 8 plus 26. Okay, I guess the white bar doesn't show that accurately on capture age, but anyways, with ballistics now in, all these units should die. Amazing play from Daniel. With the full TC garrison, these will go down, but he didn't do that. Or he did, I guess, and there's just still one running around. Now, what would really suck here is Vivi's going to convert a skirmisher down here. What would really suck for Daniel is if he has to continue to react. That's the last thing you want here. You do not want to continue to react. You want to go up. And when you're up in the next stage, you want to be able to force a fight, which is probably part of the reason he made this castle. Look at Vivi. Vivi knows he's spending food. See, crossbows don't cost food here. Daniel relocates that wood line. Crossbows don't cost food. So normally the crossbow player is going to be up to the Imperial Age faster. As we had a conversion there from Daniel, and as Daniel comes forward, Vivi, with the perfectly timed ram push, is going to take care of this castle from Daniel. Honestly needs to move these units so the rams can actually get in there, but I don't see how that can ever be dealt with. So just perfect timing. You get the one army in, it pulls all the army back. Now this castle's looking like it never belonged here in the first place. And Daniel can't really contest this. He doesn't want to take any poor fights with his crossbows yet. This villager's breaking out, by the way. And Vivi now is happy because this castle can never make Trebs and Imp, which means that more Coustiers can come out. Also, a long time ago, Vivi got the Imperial Age wood upgrade, is now getting handcart, is now getting the Imperial Age farm upgrade. So really, not hesitating to research text one age ahead. If there's ever a time to take a fight, this would be the time to take the fight. Daniel's going to attack move back here. And very good job there from Daniel. He wedged himself in there. That's the power of the crossbows. Getting the pikeman upgrade for free is no joke. Has already had that, and then could just click Halb, as well as these archer upgrades. And so Vivi still needs to be applying pressure. Still needs to be forcing reactions and buying time. And maybe, stop making Coustier and villagers for a second. Just continues to look around. I think that some of you has probably been there. If you've ever tried to play archers, you've probably been raided before. But it's tough for Daniel because Daniel can't... Like, if Daniel uses that one ball to address this, then there's going to be army on the other side. Where is the army? Oh, the army's going forward for Daniel. He doesn't want to react anymore. He pays the price here. He did pay the price on the side, but he does have the lead. 145 pop for him. He's getting bracer, guys. And here he comes. He's in imp. He's ready to kill. And, ooh. That is not a great feeling. Because there's a lot of negative things happening at home. He can move around, though. Vivi now on the way to the Imperial Age. 2 minutes away. And we'll see if the towers and TCs can be enough to hold. Daniel having to quick wall again, but the villagers have chopped their way through, so the Coustier run through again. Daniel with another castle, though. I love this castle. I'd prefer it be over here, personally, but I guess he doesn't have the army to protect it. Arbalest is in. He's killing villagers now, and we have a little siege workshop from Vivi on this side. It's so random, but it's so well placed. And then Vivi wants to make his way down here. Take control of that gold, probably because of not being able to take that 4-tile gold due to the castle there from Daniel. It does make you think, will Vivi go for anything else? Because he's starting to lose a lot of eco. Arbalest in early imp, almost impossible to stop here. And then even if he ends up getting full armor, I think he would need elite Coustier, and then he'd need a lot more. And Daniel is being so assertive with his army. I love it. Like, both players have been assertive with their army when it's mattered. That idle time for Vivi is insane, and it's allowed Daniel to make the first trip. And it's giving Daniel an opportunity to address this as the villagers fight back. Vivi getting that armor upgrade, also getting ballistics, and I think maybe considering guard tower here. I'm not sure. A lot of tower foundations were placed. Now, Daniel, at this point, you're expecting this army to be Vivi's primary focus. So you want this to stay alive as long as possible, and that opens up the possibilities for your other forces to do something. And that's normally going to be a treb push. Now, what's awkward is, and I guess he could maybe take the relics, but what's awkward is you can't treb a castle, which is what you would really want here. And the Arbalests get wiped. They get wiped. This is even before armor comes in, and whoo, man, that's a strong army. That is a very strong army. See, the thing is, with Arbalest and Halb, it's about making a lot of them because they're cheaper. So, this would be the case against Cavalier as well. The thing about Arbalest Halb is you could have, like, 80 army. Whereas you could never have 80 Paladin. Or you could, not never, but rarely get 80 Coustier. Here comes the Coustier. Vivi probably is going to make, Monastery immediately to get those relics back. And here they come, and they should be able to take out that treb. Daniel didn't have all of his forces here at the same time. I still think it's a decent fight for Daniel, though, because Elite isn't in yet for Vivi, and as the treb goes down, and units are going to go down, will the Coustier really be alive after this? I mean, I guess he took out 2 trebuchets. Vivi's got 36 on gold. Had this gold. Also has now trebbed and opening into the palisade walls on this side to raid with more Coustier from this castle. And is going to send these in as well. As I guess the castles at home are going to mass new ones. And they're going to wait until Daniel runs forward. Actually, I think the Coustier can wipe here. I think. He's getting guilds. Vivi's all about the resources. The juicy, juicy resources. Oh, yeah, they get the hill. They actually didn't all engage. They're just frozen right now. I guess as Vivi is distracted by this. Daniel should have known that castle was there. I mean, what more can you do as Ethiopians? You should be making arbs. You should be making halbs here. Maybe more upgrades for Daniel could be helpful. In particular on those halbs. But it's 155 pop for Daniel. It's just crazy because it doesn't feel like Daniel's really in the best spot, does it? Despite having the population lead. Vivi's had all the extra gold control. And Vivi is dictating the pace of this game. Probably needs to back up with the Treb right now. Is packing it up. He's going to back away. Is now going to have fully upgraded Coustier. Really needs this gold. So I think what Vivi needs is like... Maybe what Vivi needs here is 3 or 4 Trebs and push this castle. Because if you push that castle, then you get that gold. The risk right now is you're not actually making any trash units. You're not making anything that doesn't cost gold. Maybe someone in my chat could remind me how much the Coustier are. I think they are cheaper than Cavalier would be. So it's not like these units are the most expensive, but still. I've been in those spots before where I have 30 some on gold and my gold count's flying. And then all of a sudden you run out of gold and you have 30 vills that need to go somewhere else and you don't know what to do. Yeah, 55-55. I feel like 55-55 is arguably a little too cheap for what this unit does. Trebuchet's being lost here, though. That was a little sloppy from Vivi. But here he comes with another group. He's so fixated on golds, guys. It's so impressive. Look at his scouting. Where's he going? He's going to the TC on gold. Here he's got Mangonel on gold. Here he's got Vision on gold. I focus on golds and stones, as everyone should, but I don't know if I could ever say I control golds or had vision on golds and focus on golds quite like Vivi's been doing here. And Daniel is torn. He wanted to drop a defensive castle, but I think in that moment he recognized if he places a castle like that, this is over. Because he's just going to be reacting the whole game. His next castle needs to be like on the back of a Treb push. And he's going to start Trebbing this area down. In this matchup, you definitely don't want those defensive castles as Ethiopians. They're very slow, and that would just invite some pressure. You want to be dishing out the pressure, and here comes Vivi. He's repairing this castle. He's going to go in for the Trebs. He gets 1, he gets 2, and he's going to get 3, and he's just going to run away. Oh, Vivi trying to break through here. Looks like Daniel looked over to this side, only to see everything's gone now. And now the Coustier are into his eco. And now you've got Trebs and Coustier in the middle. What a crazy game from Vivi. Honestly, a sick game. Like, I think Daniel played this so well. There's not many things I could say that Daniel could have done differently beyond hitting that stone earlier, which could have won him the game, too. Keeping this castle up, then taking this castle down. He's raiding on both sides. He's running up the gut now. At this point, military count's similar, but like I mentioned before, with archer compositions and halb compositions, they're a weaker unit overall. It's just that they're cheap and you can mass them. My word, man. What a lovely game here. Now I can take his gold. He's going to get hoardings now. He's getting all the techs this game. Hoardings, castles will have more HP. Don't see that research that frequently. And I think now you should still think about mixing something in, but I think you're far enough ahead with control where you can go skirms here. I think skirms would make a lot of sense. Maybe add a few archer ranges with some of that wood. But also, do you really want to fill pop space with skirms when you're at 180 pop? You're already doing really well. So if you have faith in these units, because I really think Daniel should have gotten more infantry upgrades. Maybe just take the fight. It seems like the halbs and the arbs are just melting, and Daniel's going to get overwhelmed as more units will run in. He's completely surrounded. Daniel down to 90 eco. He's down to 20 military. His main force is going down. Wow, man. And Daniel has to... The other thing about archers is you have to like hit and run with them. You have to babysit them a bit more. Whereas with Coustier, you just queue up more, you send them in, and Daniel taps out, calls the GG. 188 Coustier were created there by Vivi. What a crazy game that was. And that's how you want to play Burgundians right now. I mean, listen, we're seeing Burgundians picked in tourneys. It's definitely way harder to get the castles. And it's a Vivi thing. Like, the Fat Dragon is called the Fat Dragon. Well, I think he originally named himself the Fat Dragon because he thought he was fat. But he went to the gym. He changed his name and he's Vivi. We're going to say that Vivi's old name, the Fat Dragon, is because of his eco. That's what we're going to say. Also, another thing that should be brought up here, and I'm not sure if you researched it, but Burgundian vineyards. means that you get gold income from your farms too. And everyone's always focused on the Flemish Revolution and talks about the Flemish Revolution and how that's super gimmicky and super strong, blah, blah, blah. I honestly feel like because the Flemish Revolution was brought into the game with the Burgundian vineyards, that the revolution got all the talking point. Like, that's all anyone ever talked about was the revolution, and it's all everyone's still talking about because it's very divisive. Some people feel like it's too gimmicky. Me. Other people are like, well, it's good for the game, you know? Anyways, I think he has vineyards because he has all this gold income, and his eco is insane there. That was just insane. He had 29,000 food collected, 16 or 17,000 gold collected. And honestly, for Daniel, he's going to think, where did it go wrong? I think it went wrong because he didn't see the stone. I want to go back to that moment. I think it was around 19 minutes. You could say it was unlucky from Daniel, but sometimes you make your own luck, right? And Vivi here decided to take a risk. This is incredible. Look, I'm going to show it again because I feel like this is worth revisiting. So Vivi sees this army, right? And deletes the mining camp. Now for Daniel, Daniel would never expect this stone to ever be taken, nor this stone to ever be taken. Okay, he's thinking about pushing in. And then what Vivi does is he places a tower. Now this is so funny to me. And so unfortunate. So as Daniel runs around, what probably happens is, I think in this moment, I think he places a TC here, if I'm not wrong. So there's a second there where he could look and he could see the rubble from the deleted mining camp. Let's see if the TC pops up. Yeah, okay, so in that moment, he looked back at his base, probably placed a house wall, and now he's like, okay, we're going to place a TC. And then he looks back. Like, at this point, he's looking at his army again, probably, and he can't see it. Age of Empires 2 is a timeless game, man. Because that matters so much. If he denies that stone, this game never plays out like this, and I think Daniel probably wins, honestly. Because then Vivi has to go in skirmishers. That wouldn't work too well against the siege and the crossbows. Daniel did gain a villager lead in this game and really caught up there. So I think it was just the audacity of it. The absolute audacity to try and run out here to the stone that ended up giving Vivi the chance. Because Daniel saw the stones, and he's like, oh, we played against Burgundians 2 previous games. I don't know what happened in the previous games. My guess is one game Vivi had a safe stone and won, and the other game Vivi didn't have a safe stone and lost. Neither of these stones were safe. Vivi got to it anyways. GG. Quality game, and I hope you guys enjoyed that. Again, a fun Civ matchup because the way the Civs play out are very different, and then also I feel like the players, they kind of had that clash of styles there too. Also, I'm a Vivi fan, man. Age of Empires is better off to have players like Vivi playing like this. For better or for worse, because there's definitely going to be tourneys where this gets punished and looks really bad, but for better or for worse, good to have Vivi in the game. And good to have him playing with his Coustier.